Here's a look at some of the richest white wives in the world. They have accrued their wealth through businesses, inheritance, and the classic old alimony. But no matter their method of gaining wealth, they have climbed the social ladder to become some of the most coveted women. So, take a step back as we introduce you to the super wealthy divas. 15. Anne Wojcicki. Starting from the bottom, we have Anne Wojcicki. If you think healthcare can only be streamlined to AI tools that can detect illnesses, Anne Wojcicki would prove you wrong. She has proven that thinking outside the box can change your wealth status. Born on July 28, 1983, Anne comes from a family of Russian Jewish immigrants. Her parents were academics at heart, so Anne and her sisters grew up on Stanford's campus. Her mother was an educator and journalist, while her father was a physicist. Growing up in such an academic-driven environment encouraged her to study biology at Yale University. After graduation, she started working as a healthcare investment analyst while trying to get into medical school. However, she saw how the Wall Street top dogs were treating healthcare and realized she didn't want to be part of that system. So she quit her job and decided to pursue a career in research biology. Through this new exploit, Anne was able to start her own company called 23andMe. It's a company that allows consumers to trace their ancestry and possible illnesses using their DNA. She got married to Sergey Brin, CEO of Google, in 2007, a year after starting the company. But before their marriage, they had acquired a lot of commercial properties together. Anyway, through her company, Anne Wojcicki was able to take her net worth to $440 million. She's the least richest white wife in this video, because the next woman is worth at least 10 times 10 of Anne Wojcicki. 14. Marie Besnier Beauvalot. Meet Marie Besnier Beauvalot, who we can call the literal Dairy Queen because of her source of income. She was born on July 30th, 1980, and is one of the few billionaire heiresses in Europe. In 1933, her grandfather started the French dairy company, Besnier Group, but now called Lactalis. If you are still wondering if you have tasted products from this company, you probably have. They are the brains behind President Brie, Milkmaid Yogurt, and Valbresso Feta. After her grandfather died, Marie and her brother inherited 100% of the company. Her oldest brother, Emmanuel Besnier, took over as the CEO, and yearly, the company makes over $30 billion. Marie has a 21% stake in Lactalis, which has made her worth over $8 billion. So if, for some reason, Lactalis were to be handed over to someone else, Marie Besnier Beauvalot has more than enough to restart another company. She lives a very quiet life, so the identity of her husband is unknown. But the next woman is the husband of a well-known man and is worth double of Marie's net worth. 13. Lucy Southworth. Meet Lucy Southworth, wife of the co-founder of Google, Larry Page. Lucy Southworth was born on May 24, 1979, in the United States. Her mother was an educational psychologist and founder of the McLean Association for Children, while her father was a PhD holder who worked at the World Bank. Her background was not as tough as some of the other people in this video. Her sister is an actress best known for portraying Dr. Claire Simpson on General Hospital Night Shift. But despite having the liberty to essentially be anything she wanted, Lucy decided to follow her parents' footsteps and focus on academics. She got her PhD from Stanford University in biomedical informatics. She started dating Larry Page in 2006, and in 2007 they got married on Sir Richard Branson's luxury Caribbean island of Necker. Lucy Southworth lives a very quiet life, so information about her children and what she does for work is readily available to the public. But we know she runs a foundation with her husband, Larry Page, and she's worth around $9 billion. 12. Blair Perry Okedon. We are talking about Blair Perry Okedon. Born in Honolulu, Hawaii in 1950, Blair seemed to be born for wealth. She schooled at La Pietra, Hawaii School for Girls, which was founded by her mother, Barbara Cox Anthony. So Blair already had access to the best education growing up under an educator. Following in her mother's footsteps, she trained to become a teacher too. But teaching was not going to be her main source of income. Her grandfather, James M. Cox, founded the media company, Cox Enterprises. Even if Blair didn't have plans to get into entertainment, she already had generational wealth at hand. But she didn't seem to be interested in it. So when her mother passed in 2007, she inherited her mother's shares, giving her 25% of the company. But she didn't take on any role in the company and decided to follow her passion instead. Writing. By 2016, Blair Perry Oakenden was named the richest person in Australia with a net worth of over $9 billion at the time. Her sons were also recognized as the highest spenders in Australia at some point. But now, she is worth $6.5 billion, which is still more than what the average woman is worth. So, kudos to this writing queen. The next woman is worth almost double of Blair Perry Oakenden, and she got her wealth by doing nothing. 11. Sandra Ortega Mera. Yeah, this is definitely going to be a hard guess, so we will tell you right off the bat that we were referring to Sandra Ortega Mera. Born on July 19, 1968, Sandra Ortega Mera came into the world with cerebral palsy. Most likely inspired by her condition, Sandra's mother started a foundation for children with disabilities, and Sandra has since been working there. But her net worth is $12 billion. Was it by working at the foundation that she amassed this wealth to become a billionaire? Well, obviously not. Sandra is the daughter of Amancio Ortega Gaona, the richest man in Spain, and his first wife, Rosalia Mera, who is the founder of Inditex, better known as the parent company of Zara. Yes, the high fashion brand. After inheriting 7% of Inditex after her mother passed away in 2013, she is currently the second richest person in Spain, right after her father. Sandra Ortega Mera also owns shares in a pharmaceutical company called PharmaMar. And if there is anything we know about the pharmaceutical industry, it's that they are always raking in large amounts of revenue annually. The billionaire has a degree in psychology and is married with 3 children. Sandra Ortega Mera's story is similar to the next woman's story in regards to how they both amassed wealth. 10. Laurene Powell Jobs. If you are a fan of Steve Jobs, then you may be pleased to know that his wife, Laurene Powell Jobs, is one of the richest women in the world. But how did she get all her wealth? Did she inherit it from her parents? Or is there more to her life that we don't know? Laurene was born on November 6, 1963, and was raised in West Milford, New Jersey. She has degrees in political science, economics, and a MBA from Stanford Graduate School of Business. Before going to get her master's, Laurene worked as a fixed-income trading strategist at Goldman Sachs and Merrill Lynch Asset Management. She met Steve Jobs while she was working on her MBA in 1989, and in 1991, they got married. Together, they had 3 children before Steve Jobs' death. After Steve Jobs' death, she took over his trust that had a stake of $12.1 billion in Walt Disney and 38 million shares in Apple. Because of this inheritance, she has been named the richest woman in tech, and it is well deserved. In 2024, she bought the most expensive house in California for $70 million and is currently worth $15 billion. Laurene inherited her wealth, but his next rich white wife built everything from her childhood farmland to being one of the most respected companies in the United States. 9. Diane Hendricks. When next the manifestation queens are telling you to manifest the kind of life you want, you better take them seriously. Diane Hendricks manifested everything she has today, and if you doubt us, then keep watching to see how she did it. Diane Hendricks was born on March the 2nd, 1947, in Mondovi, Wisconsin. Her childhood was anything but glamorous as she grew up on a farm. But here's the kicker. She didn't let the fact that she wasn't where wanted to be stop her. Instead, she chose to learn work ethics from growing on a farm, and it truly helped her, ultimately changing the direction of her life. Despite the fact that she didn't have luxuries, she always imagined herself in a blue suit, driving her own car, owning her own company. Diane wanted to be independent. One of her non-negotiables was that she wasn't going to marry a farmer because she wanted more out of her life. Her dreams seemed like they were going to come to a halt when she got pregnant at the age of 17. But for a determined woman like Diane, that was light work. 3 years after giving birth, she divorced her high school sweetheart and became a single mother. She soon started working odd jobs while building a career in real estate. In 1975, she met and married Ken Hendricks, a high school dropout and the son of a roofer. They were an unlikely duo, But they became business partners, and together they built ABC Supply, a roofing supply company. The company has since grown to become the biggest roofing supply company in the U.S. Ken died in 2007, and she took 100% ownership of the company. Through the roofing business and her other endeavors, Diane Hendricks is now worth $20 billion. So if you are doubting manifestation, remember how this queen did it and look at her results. The next white wife didn't manifest her wealth, she inherited it, but she has been able to maintain and increase it. 8. Iris Fontbona. This is Iris Fontbona, a Chilean businesswoman who entered billionaire status through a large inheritance from her dead husband. Iris was born around 1942 and attended a Catholic high school. She met her husband, Andronico Luksic Abaroa, when she was 17 and he was 32. There was a 15-year age difference between them, but they got married when she turned 20. Andronico had been married before, but his first wife died a little earlier than he did, and Iris became a stepmother to the son they had together. In 2005, Andronico died of cancer and left everything he owned to Iris Fontbona, so her net worth went from almost nothing to billionaire in days. The company he left behind was Antofagasta, a mining company. Although a bulk of his business was left to his sons, Iris and her family control the mining company. This inheritance has made Iris Fontbona worth $23.9 billion, making the richest person in Chile and third richest in Latin America. She is also the 9th richest woman in the world, proving that because it's an inheritance doesn't mean it won't be managed well. The next woman also accrued her wealth through mining and exploration, but she is worth more than Iris Fontbona. 7. Gina Rinehart. Meet Gina Rinehart, one of the richest women in the world. Born on February 9, 1954, Gina is an Australian billionaire who accrued her wealth through mining. She attended St. Hilda's Anglican School for Girls and went on to the University of Sydney. However, she didn't seem to have any interest in higher education, so she dropped out to work with her father, Lang Hancock, at Hancock Prospecting, a privately owned mineral exploration and extraction company. She was an only child, so when her dad died, it was a no-brainer that she would inherit the company. Gina has proven herself as an expert in the field by showing that she's a hard worker in addition to her inheritance. She has seen the company expand and become a billionaire by capitalizing on a market boom. In 2012, Gina Rinehart became the world's richest woman with a net worth of $29 billion and was named the world's 100 most powerful women by Forbes. But in 2019, her net worth reduced significantly to $14.8 billion because less people were demanding for iron ore. However, 2020 came, and the demand for Australian ore increased, raising her net worth to $37 billion. She is currently the richest person in Australia and continues to break new grounds. Her current net worth is $27.9 billion, making her around $10 billion less than the next woman. 6th, Raffaella Aponte Diamant. This is Raffaella Aponte Diamant, an Italian billionaire. She is a major shareholder of the Mediterranean Shipping Company, along with her husband, Gianluigi Aponte. She was born in Haifa, Mandatory Palestine, before her family migrated to Switzerland, where her father worked as a banker. She met her husband on a boat cruise where she was a passenger and he was a captain. Together, they have 2 children. Her union with the Italian businessman boosted her net worth through the shares she got at his company. Raffaella is now worth $33 billion, making her the 53rd richest person in the world. She is just a few billion away from the next woman who was inspired by her father and copied him. 5. Abigail Johnson. We're talking about businesswoman and author Abigail Johnson. She was born in Boston on December 19, 1961. She graduated with a degree in art history from William Smith College and got her MBA from Harvard Business School. Her grandfather was the founder of Fidelity Investment, but he never made her or her siblings feel pressure to join the family business. But in the true fashion of a business-oriented woman, Abigail Johnson was attracted to her father's work and decided to follow in his footsteps and work in the same field. By 2014, Abigail already owned 24.5% of Fidelity Investment, making her one of the highest single stakeholder in the company. She went on to become CEO of other smaller companies under Fidelity Investment. Abigail Johnson is currently worth $37 billion through her investment firm and continues to break the ceiling in the finance industry, just like the next woman who is breaking the ceiling in the beauty industry. 4. Jacqueline Mars. If you enjoy chocolate, then you know about Mars chocolate. But did you know that it is headed by one of the richest women in the world? Meet Jacqueline Mars, who was born on October 10, 1939. She studied anthropology at Bryn Mawr College and went back to continue the family's business after graduation. She is the daughter of Forrest Mars Jr. and Frank C. Mars, the founders of the candy company, Mars Incorporated. Jacqueline must have a lot of candy growing up, but that's not the point. This sweet treat business was handed down to her, and she used it to not only make sweet lovers happy, but also fatten her bank account. In her lifetime, she has married 2 husbands and divorced them both, but she never got any inheritance from either. Everything she has was earned through sweat and more. In 2013, she had an automobile accident that caused the death of one and a miscarriage for another pregnant woman. Jacqueline Mars was charged with the misdemeanor of reckless driving, and no drugs or alcohol were in her system. She told a witness that she doesn't know what happened, but she fell asleep at the wheel. So it could have probably been stress that came from working so hard, or something else that we can't guess. She is worth $40 billion and is the 23rd richest person in the world and 9th richest woman in the world. Jacqueline Mars achieved all these through candy. What a phenomenal woman. The next white wife got all her inheritance from her husband and is worth almost double of what Jacqueline Mars is worth. 3. Julia Koch. Allow us to introduce you to socialite Julia Koch. Julia Koch was born on April 12, 1962, and is one of the richest women in the world. She came from a farming background, but her parents opened a fashion store when she was a child. The fashion store was considered beautiful, and the proceeds were put towards providing the best life for Julia. After she graduated from the University of Central Arkansas, she moved to New York to work as fashion designer, Adolfo's assistant. She finally met David Koch in 1991 on a blind date, and she did not like him at all. They decided not to pursue the relationship further, but that was until 1993 when they met at a party and sparks started flying. She quit her job in 1993 and got married to David Koch in 1997. Julia soon got introduced to the social world when she was co-chairman of the Met Gala. David Koch died in 2019 and left everything he owned to her. Through this inheritance, Julia is now worth $74 billion and continues to attend her social events without a care in the world. When these women are not getting inheritance from their partners, they are getting it from their parents, like the next woman. 2. Alice Walton. Meet this shopping queen who has revolutionized the shopping industry. We are talking about Alice Walton, who was born on October 7, 1949. She is the daughter of Sam Walton, founder of Walmart. She graduated from Trinity University in economics. After graduating, Alice started working as an equity analyst and money manager for First Commerce Corporation. She also worked as a broker before starting Llama Company, an investment bank. She played a major role in the development of the Northwest Arkansas Council by making a seed funding of $15 million. This led to her being inducted in the Arkansas Aviation Hall of Fame. Her father described her as a maverick in his book and said she was like when it came to taking risks, but she took more dangerous risks than him. Through her hard work and inheritance, she is worth $72 billion, making her the 2nd richest woman in the world. 1. Françoise Bettencourt Myers. And finally, at number 1, meet Françoise Bettencourt Myers, the richest woman in the world and the richest white wife in this video. This French businesswoman was born on July 10, 1953. She is the only child and heir of Liliane Bettencourt and the granddaughter of Eugene Schuller, founder of L'Oreal. She married Jean-Pierre Myers, a business executive, and she converted from Catholicism to Judaism. Her marriage caused controversy, but that didn't deter her from being with who she loved. By 2023, Françoise became the first woman to be worth $100 billion, making her the 12th richest person in the world at the time. She is breaking ground in the beauty industry and being an inspiration to other women coming behind her. These white wives have proven that it is very possible to become wealthy through hard work and access to the right people at the right time. Which of these women would you like to swap with for a day if you had the chance? We have come to the end of this video. Make sure you like and subscribe for more like this.